Welcome back, everyone. It's been a week since our last... No, 2 weeks since our last podcast.
My God.
Because we normally do it weekly. But we are the Game Junkies podcast, in case any of you haven't heard of us before. This is the place which brings you all the latest gaming news, releases, and content. I'm your host, Chris, and I'm here with my co-host, Jack.
Hello, everyone. It sounded like this was the first intro for the podcast. We are the Game Junkies podcast, everyone. So
the reason why there was a bit of a disclaimer is because last week I had some technical difficulties actually doing the podcast. My PC just wasn't working. To be honest with you, I think it's on its way out.
Yeah,
so
sad times. RIP. How long have you had it for?
Good 6-7 years.
Oh, God.
So it's lasted me a good while. Yeah, I mean, it's sad. But
moving on to bigger and better things. I mean, Chris had technical difficulties. I was just too drunk. So
yeah,
I couldn't function.
You couldn't, yeah. Which is funny because normally I'm the hungover one.
That is true. So it's a nice
when we're doing the podcast. So it's
how for turntables.
Nice change. Exactly. So in honor of sort of Cyberpunk releasing this week or next week, however you look at it, but it's this week.
It's so close.
I'm going to ask you and everyone a question, which is quite a generic question, I guess, but you may take a bit of time to think about it. What is your favourite open world game?
Ooh.
I think we may have the same answer for this one. That's the thing.
We might do. I don't know.
Actually, I'm thinking that's quite generic. Let me go a little bit different in honor of Night City. What is your favorite city in a video game?
God.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
What's my favorite city? I mean, it doesn't have to be just because you're able to explore it. It could just be
just a city in a linear game. It doesn't have to be exploration game.
Well, I think my favorite city then is New Mombasa in Halo 3 ODST. Because that's actually
shocker, Halo.
It is a shocker, Halo. But it's also ODST is kind of an open world game, for at least part of the campaign.
I mean, it's like I said, it didn't have to be open
world. But it's just something I liked because it was introduced in Halo 2. It was touched upon in Halo 3, but all the fans were kind of misled because we assumed in Halo 2 we'd all be in the city, but we weren't. So ODST decided, let's just chuck everyone there since everyone wanted it so much, and it was a good experience. It was fun.
I think that's a good choice.
Thank you. I tried my best.
I mean, I liked the sort of direction they went for Halo ODST. I think it was quite different from what it was with Halo 3.
But like you said, it's not a shock if I chose Halo, right?
No. I would say probably one of my favourites. I mean, there's just obviously all the worlds are just so beautiful and stuff like that, But I'd say probably one of my favourites that comes straight to mind is Midgar from Final Fantasy VII.
Of course.
Especially the remake. It's just the atmosphere in the world, and it just feels completely different to anything else. It's very steampunky kind of vibe to it.
Does the city feel different compared to the original?
Yes, but in a good way. Like it feels how it it's how because obviously the old game was like a very 2D game. So how I'd imagine it in 3D, gotcha. Yes. So it's pretty much the same, but it was great. So let us know on Twitter what your guys are. So do you want to segue us into the first segment?
The news.
Nice. So there's a lot of Cyberpunk news, as you can imagine.
It's only four days away, Chris.
Yeah. So Cyberpunk 2077 developers are asking players not to stream before official release. Now this is come on. Don't be streaming. Don't be sending out them spoilers. Don't be streaming like that. So this comes directly from GameSpot. Cyberpunk 2077 is nearly upon us. Yeah, hey, can I get a yeehaw?
Yeehaw?
What's the thing the Marines say in
Hoorah.
Alien? Hoorah.
Can they get a yeehaw?
With the release date set for December 10th. Now, can I say this is happening, right? This is not a drill. Like this.
Right.
They can't delay it
it's
soon.
4 days away. They cannot delay it again. It's too close to the release date. Way too close.
So between copies that shipped early, retail mistakes and press influencer copies, it's possible that information will be out there ahead of launch. And developer CD Projekt Red is asking that anyone with a copy holds off on streaming. It is also hinted that videos would be removed if players don't follow this request. In a tweet on the official Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter account, the devs have asked people not to stream the game ahead of launch and warned in their own way that action will be taken against anyone who does it. Just don't do it.
They will go to prison.
What? Like,
I
just
send
don't
them
do
away.
It's like you said, it's 4 days. It's 4 days. There's no way you
I refuse to see anything Cyberpunk related until I get the game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not looking... Even the ones that the CD Projekt actually put up the videos, I refuse to watch them now.
I watch them, but I refuse to see anything other than CD Projekt Red, if you see what I mean.
No, even now I'm just like, it's 4 days away. I want to go in. I want to try and go in as blind as I can. I mean, I've already had some stuff sort of spoil for me. Not spoil, but stuff I would have liked to have found out by myself.
Sure, gotcha.
But that's, that was from CD Projekt Red. It wasn't from like a side influencer or whatever.
Side influenza.
Influenza.
Okay.
But it, just don't do it. Why do you have to stream it and spoil it for everyone? Just wait. It's so 4 days,
It's a tale as old as time, isn't it? There's so many spoilers before big projects, films. Endgame last year, there was so many spoilers on YouTube of clips of the film. There's so many spoilers from new upcoming releases.
The thing is with this...
something you just need to avoid.
The thing is with this game is I feel like if it gets spoiled, it's not the end of the world. Now, what I say by that is it's different how a spoiler for The Last of Us Part 2 was, for example. So when there's a spoiler for that, there's only a certain amount of characters, there's only one sort of story. Whereas with Cyberpunk, I can play it my own way. My story's going to be different to yours anyway. So if a character dies in your storyline, that doesn't mean it's going to die in mine. Do you see what I'm saying? So spoilers doesn't
I hope I don't do an awful job in my gameplay. I just kill off all my characters.
So spoilers in this game, it doesn't really affect me in terms of the story. What affects me is spoilers like, oh my god, you can do this or you can do that. Gameplay mechanics, which I wanted to find out myself. That's what I consider a spoiler.
Yeah. Sure. No, I get
gameplay
that.
ones...
I mean, there must be big plot points.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, generally...
Surely. But, everyone will experience,
I feel like generally
right?
speaking... It's there's going to be big story arcs but I don't think it's like I said, I feel like with this game your sort of options and your sort of dialogue options that you do is going to have a very big effect, and your actions is going to have a very big effect on how your story plays out,
yeah. God, right. I just want
4
the
days.
game.
Relax,
I just can't think of anything else. I just need... It's 4 days.
Do you want to take the next story?
4 days. Yeah, was this something slightly underrated in terms of a game? Normally people talk about it these days, in my opinion. But here we go. So this is Sea of Thieves getting seasons and a battle pass in 2021. This is from IGN. Sea of Thieves will introduce a seasonal progression system in January 2021 alongside a battle pass with free and premium options. Announced as part of the final Sea of Thieves news for 2020, Rare will be moving away from the game's consistent monthly update model. The season system will replace this, bringing players new content every 3 months, with a new way of play introduced in every season, starting with Season 1 in January of next year. Each season will feature regular and featured live events, as well as new awards for pirate outlaws to uncover. You'll progress through 100 levels of pirate renown in each season, unlocking new awards for your pirate player character and their ship. This will separate from the existing progression system, which sees you ranking up companies by engaging with certain pockets of gameplay. Players who have achieved the coveted title of Pirate Legend will also be receiving specialized exclusive rewards as part of the new progression system.
So,
I feel like
long
this
overdue.
is... I feel like it's welcome
to be honest,
change.
I feel like it's long overdue. I feel like this game needed that. It's just that type of game,
A progression system was a must.
I think that's the problem because.
I mean, when I was playing,
when we sort of picked it up when I think it was like a year ago now. The problem we had was there wasn't much sort of customization to make us feel different to the fellow pirate, or there wasn't any progression. So it just felt very like, all this looting and pirating that I'm doing is for nothing. Like, what's the point? Whereas this battle pass, is gonna.
Well, the thing is with ships, for example, I was just going to say, with ships, for example, I assumed when you started the game, you would start off with like a tiny boat, and then you would progress to get the bigger and bigger boats. But the thing is, you can start with anything you want, and the only thing you unlock are cosmetics to change certain looks of your ship, or like the skin of your guns, which is just
don't
not
get me
enough,
wrong,
is
right?
it?
I wouldn't compare sort of seasons to microtransactions, right? I don't have a problem with seasons. I think seasons in a game are great.
No.
It brings you back to the game. It makes you want to, especially a game you're invested in. It makes you feel like you've earned some. So, say for example, you've been playing Halo a lot, right? And there's seasons in that. Say somebody skipped a season and they started playing with you next month. Say for me, for example, I would see armor that you got in a previous season. I think that's pretty cool. You've actually earned that, and you've gone through it. The thing I have a problem with sort of seasons is if it's gameplay sort of altering things. So if it's something that gives you a better gun, and it's not free, that just seems like, hold on, that's not fair. I paid for this game. What, So I mean, cosmetic ones.
The thing is with a battle pass, with a battle pass, you normally get. It's normally cosmetics,
which I don't have a problem with,
and that kind of thing. But sometimes you get like a new weapon. Yeah, exactly. That's perfectly fine. Sometimes you get a new weapon, which is fine. But the things with a battle pass, if the game isn't free, I don't like the idea of paying for a battle pass as well, because it might give you access to like more weapons or more vehicles, that kind of thing. But the thing is with that's a prime example. With a game that is on Game Pass, for example, so Sea of Thieves. It is. I mean, obviously, you have to pay the £10 or so to get the Game Pass, but everything there is free. For every game that's on Game Pass, it's free. You have access to everything that the game has to offer. So I'm not totally against paying for a Battle Pass when the game is essentially free. But with a game like COD, Modern Warfare specifically, that game was £60. And then they also brought out Battle Passes where you have to pay more money to unlock more weapons and skins and whatnot. And then they had the ridiculous idea of you have to pay money to see the amount of deaths you had during a game. Now that was ridiculous. No gamers. I've never seen any game do something that scummy in my eyes.
I think this is long overdue. I'm kind of surprised they didn't. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't add a battle pass to this game sooner. It just seems like that game which would be perfect for a battle pass.
Yeah, I mean, I might be curious
definitely
to check it out now, because you might be. Well, I'm curious what they will have to offer players now. There's new rewards, there's levels to go through, which is I like the idea of levels. It makes
like I said, a season and a battle pass brings a player back to the game. Like I do feel like Fortnite wouldn't be as successful if they didn't have seasons. That's what I'm just going to throw out there. I don't think it would.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't be making the money without their seasons.
When I talk to you, like what you play in Sniper, blah blah blah. You're always on Halo, and I said, "What are you doing on Halo?" You said, "I've got this new sort of season challenge." It brings you back to the game. I don't think you'd go back to it as much if there wasn't that sort of sense of achievement or something you were building towards. So I think it's definitely needed, and I think it will possibly revive the game, if I'm honest with you.
I hope so, because it had potential. Because name other pirate games.
I mean, that's the thing. Games. When I played it, I didn't have a problem with the game. I liked the game. The problem was lack of progression.
It was the replayability.
Just no upgrade. There was just nothing to work towards.
What would you like to see?
I think the battle pass is a good start. I think it will be good. So if there's a pirate ship that I like the look of at battle pass 75 level 75 on the battle pass, it's good because I'll work towards that. I mean, it's definitely opened my eyes and making me want to go back to it. Like, I do fancy checking it out now.
Definitely, I agree. Well, I'm genuinely curious now, so I'm gonna give it a check. I'm gonna give it a look.
Expect that in 2021 January. So no.
Yeah, it's not long away.
So,
oh God, it's only next month.
Are we going to be playing? Oh, please.
2021 is next month.
I mean, my life is just going to blend into Cyberpunk, to be honest. When that comes out, nothing else going to matter.
That is true. That is true. But if I want to have a change of pace, that's always something.
So
to look
speaking
at.
of Cyberpunk, as we always are, apparently, which is going to be the hot topic for I think
every day
the next month on our podcast. it will have a massive 43GB update around launch. So this comes directly from GameSpot.
Yay.
CD Projekt Red highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077 may take up more storage space than originally thought, as it's been revealed that the game has a 43GB update around launch, and it likely isn't the only update either. According to Games Radar Plus, YouTuber Dreamcast Guy, one of the many who has a copy of the game in their hands ahead of Cyberpunk 2077's December 10th launch, shared a screenshot on Twitter highlighting the update's download size. The screenshot shows a 43.5GB update. So I'm guessing the reason why I think this is so big, right, is because the game went gold about, I guess, 2 months ago now, maybe a month and a half, about 2 months ago. When a game goes gold, it basically means it's on the disc, right? So what I think is they obviously prepared it on the disc. They made the copies of the disc, just go out everywhere, and then the delay, so the bugs they had to sort out, everything like that, is this 43GB update. That's what I think is happening. Okay.
Right.
So please don't skip it. I think skipping it you're gonna be in for a bad time. I feel like this 43GB update is what they were delaying for. So please don't skip it. I think this is very crucial. 43GB is a massive update. I don't think I've ever had a game where it's been 43GB on launch. But again,
right. I mean, I can name a few games. No, I mean 43 gigs.
Update. So like an update, not the actual game size. Gotcha. I mean the update, right? So the update itself is 43GB. Gotcha. That's a lot for an update. Unless you're COD.
That's a lot.
But
exactly.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think it's around like 40, 50. I actually don't know.
So basically, this will be less than 100 gigabytes.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Everything.
And I think that's really good.
Not bad.
And like I said, I think the reason for this 43GB update and why it's so big is because they had the disc ready anyway, like months ago. But they obviously needed to work on it, and the work that they've done is in this update. So I don't think you should. Yeah, I don't think you should skip it, because I feel like you will be in for a bad time and some performance issues. I mean, we just chat. It's like we're working for CD Projekt Red. It's like, please don't skip it. You want to read.
Please do this. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, when I say we have 4 days left until we get to play Cyberpunk, I have 5 days, pretty much.
Yeah.
I have like the original Xbox One. Chris has a PS5, so his update is going to take
the update is based on your internet speed. So. Yeah.
Well, mine's great,
not,
but also Xbox One is quite slow.
Great
generally.
anyway. Plus, I wanted to try and book the day off work, but I couldn't.
You're not allowed to complain. Yeah, but you got the entire weekend ahead of you. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I'm probably going to be playing it on the 11th rather than the 10th. If I'm honest, that's just how my Xbox and my internet seems to work.
It'll come fairly early, and you won't have any issues.
Arrive early in the morning,
but
like
I
4
feel
in the
like
morning.
When this game comes out, I'm just gonna. I won't know what is real life and what isn't. I won't know if Cyberpunk. I won't. Well, Night City is the real. Is my real life.
Look, I get it. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be very realistic. It's going to have very good graphics, but it's not going to. You're not going to not remember.
I already
who
every
you are
day
as a
I stray further from who I am, based on just being stuck in the house all the time with COVID.
Yeah, I don't think this game's going to help you then.
But yeah, both of us plan on getting the game. Well, on release day, we both pre-ordered it. So our most of our episode next week, I imagine, is literally going to be our reviews and talking about it.
I can't wait.
What we said we were going to do is we're going to do different life paths at the start, just to have a little bit of variety, so we have a lot more to talk about on the podcast. See how much it differs. So I think we agreed that I was going to go for Nomad and you were going to go for one of the other two.
Well, it's either the
Street Kid and Corporate Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the two. I mean, all of the.
I'm kind of glad though that we're deciding between us, because if I didn't have someone else to decide for me, I would just be sat at that screen for about 4 hours deciding which.
Not sure what to do. Oh. I would not be able to play the game and be like, which one do I have to choose?
I mean, we won't talk too much about it now, because obviously we'll talk about it next week.
But at least you know what you're going for. I
feel like my second choice would probably be Street Kid, and then Corporate would be last. Because I feel like
you think so?
With Nomad,
Yeah, why
the
corporate
reason why
last?
I think I'd go for COVID, why I'd go for Nomad first, why I go for Nomad first is because it's my first time experiencing Night City. And it's going to be Nomad's first time experiencing Night City when he does actually get to go into the city. So that's why I feel like it's going to be more immersive.
Now that's
whereas
a great
Street
idea,
Kid
actually.
is obviously
whereas
Street Kid's obviously grown up to be a street kid.
He's going to know the streets.
Corporate,
he's going to know the streets.
I mean, I did hear a rumor that Corporate is also their first time in the city because they get data transferred over to the city, so when they wake up it's their first time in the city, so that may be another option for you. Whereas I think Street Kid is literally like they've been living on the streets and they know it, so I think I have been more prone to go towards Corporate for my second playthrough as well, because it's like, oh, it's his first time in the city as well,
I need the game now.
Can I just go to sleep now and then wake up on Thursday? Yeah,
wake up 4 days later.
But yeah, I guess speaking of more, I guess, I mean, this is controversial, but depressing news for me and you. Do you want to talk about the next news segment? You have to.
Do I have to?
The BBC, well, I was going to say BBC News don't filter what they say, but they probably do. Anyway, that's another...
I mean, I guess not, but I mean, do you really want to hold our standards to,
Let's just get it over and done with. Let's
BBC?
just rip it off like a plaster. Yeah,
rip it off like a bandit. Yeah, okay. Right, so based on the title, you'll see why me and Chris are depressed. It's Kratos and Master Chief
and Mandalorian as well, apparently.
And Mandalorian, yeah, I saw that as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna run through this and then we can talk about it. So this is from IGN. Kratos and Master Chief is officially available in Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 5. Epic Games released a short trailer showcasing the God of War in the Battle Royale game, and he's available as a skin now in the item shop. Don't cry, Chris, please. What's more, the Kratos skin isn't a console exclusive, so anybody playing Fortnite can charge onto the island as the
So I'm going to be as emotionless as possible as I can be with my view on this, okay?
Okay. Even though you've already cried.
From a marketing perspective, it makes sense in the way that they want to try and show, like PlayStation want to obviously try and get people towards their console more, right? So they obviously go, this is Kratos, this is God of War, he looks badass, come across and play it.
There's a new game coming out.
This doesn't make sense because most of the demographic, right, age for Fortnite is what, 10 years old? I mean, it's the younger kids, right?
I mean, yeah, kids play Fortnite.
No kid is going to be allowed to play that legally.
Yes, that's my point.
I mean,
exactly. I mean, but end of the day, so many kids play. I mean, do you know the amount of kids that play COD?
How many times they've apparently
more
banged
kids
my
playing
mum,
COD than
which
adults.
Just doesn't,
I know. It doesn't make any sense. Physically.
But legally, it doesn't make sense because you can't. Like, even so, I feel like I just don't see the younger generation appreciating a game like God of War because I don't know. Like it's. I don't know. When I was a kid, I didn't really care about story and stuff like that in games, I just played a game.
No, you just play the game.
Because it's fun,
Because it's fun.
I'm not saying God of War isn't... I'm not saying it's
God
not
of War's
fun. I just don't think it's the same fun as Fortnite. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's a different kind of...
It's not all colourful and outgoing and...
But
God of War's depressing and
Kratos' character, I've seen him doing dances, and man, it is painful to watch.
The dances, the gif of like him doing some
the actual
kawaii
skin,
dancing.
I think is pretty spot on. They've done a really good design of the actual skin.
Oh yeah, that's an accurate skin.
Him dancing,
that makes it worse.
I just can't get the image of him doing that. I don't know what dance, like a floss or something.
As soon as I sent you that to you, you were just
look how they masked my boy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's Chris. You're not the only one because they did that to Master Chief.
The thing is, what I find interesting though is how they've added a PlayStation game and a Xbox game. It's quite interesting. It's like a crossover.
It is interesting.
But yeah, with Kratos, I think they added the Levian axe, which is obviously axe, his famous axe. But for Master Chief, they've added quite a few more bits, haven't they? They've added the grab hammer?
They've added a mini warthog.
Didn't even know you could drive in
travel around.
Fortnite.
They've added a pelican.
No,
I didn't know that was a thing either. And you got the pelican.
Well, that's the only thing I can think of, unless they've added space.
Unless that's a drop-off thing skin, and you've also got the gravity hammer as your like melee weapon.
So how do you feel about Master Chief in there?
Like, it makes sense for like, I don't want to. I don't want to.
I mean, we never have to. I mean, I don't play the game anyway, so it's not going to really affect me in any way. You know, I'm never going to play the game.
Sure, but I guess, but it's just like knowing the history behind these badass characters and the things they've gone through in their
just
respective
dancing
games.
And flossing.
It's difficult. It's so like. At the end of the day, look, they're not real, so it doesn't matter. But like, since I just have this emotional connection, it's just like it feels so disrespectful seeing this gaming icon that launched the Xbox as an identity, as a brand, and making them do these shitty Fortnite dances. It's tearing my soul apart.
You know,
it's like they're ripping my heart out.
You know when you see
with their claws.
Like back when, I don't know, Day Dot or whatever. You see those sort of like memes where like some guy has obviously made Master Chief do a stupid dance in like I don't know, some editing software or whatever. It's like that, but this time it's real.
Like this animated stuff.
Like, it's happening.
I know, because you can get away with the animated stuff because we know it's just this random guy just made him do this. I'm just like,
just say as well,
that's not actually official.
Microsoft or 343, could you stop trying to make deals with Fortnite and sort out the game first, because that's delayed? And it's like, I'm sorry,
that would be nice. Yeah, I wouldn't mind actually them focusing on the game. It's been, when did the showcase for the
like
demo?
August?
Well, not
like
demo,
August?
but when did the gameplay for? Was it
Ages
August?
Ago.
Like it's been August. That's the only time we've seen gameplay. It's been long since
why
we've seen
they've
gameplay.
added I mean, I understand why they've added these. Am I personally happy about it? No, because like you said, you don't want to see these.
No.
I mean, literally, Kratos kills gods for a living. I mean...
Yeah. Master Chief takes on the Flood,
and
this horrifying alien power.
I mean, I kind of see the, comedic effect to it. It's personally not for me. I've never really been a big fan of... Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of Fortnite anyway. I've just, it's not my game. It's too childish.
It's just not my game.
I don't mean to be... if that's what you're into, that's what you're into.
It's too childish, but also the demographic is also children.
If you're playing it, it's up to you. Fair enough, whatever you're into. But I just personally, it's not for me. And
what's your opinion on the Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian kind of makes sense a bit more than the other two because Star Wars is sort of towards the younger demographic. I mean, I watched it when I was younger. You watched it when you were younger. I'm sure everyone did.
Not everyone. I mean, a lot of people
and Baby
were adults
Yoda is kind of like
a lot of adult fans.
Just like a nice icon to have. Plus, they have a contract with Disney as well, so I'm not, with Marvel, so I'm not.
That is true. Well, I mean,
so again, I'm not surprised by the Mandalorian as well as the other two. The other two are literally like Kratos and Master Chief. They literally just punch, like they just kill anything. Like, what's going on? So I mean, it's not going to.
It's
not going to affect me in any way. If I'm honest with you.
Just.
But I can just imagine, right? I can imagine some kid, like 10-year-old kid, playing Fortnite, and he sees Kratos or Master Chief, and he goes, "Mum, I want God of War for Christmas." She goes, "Yeah, no problem." Not realizing the age, gives him God of War, and he just like kills a god, and he's like starts crying his eyes out. Goes, "Mum, what is this?" Do you know what I mean? That's what I just have the image of.
I feel sorry for any child having to witness the floods.
Oh my god, that was terrifying. I'm scared of that now.
That would give him nightmares, wouldn't it?
I mean, good on them for adding it. I mean, they look good. We can't say they look good, right?
They look accurate, but it's
the dances just don't add to it.
But right.
Before I cry,
doesn't feel
let's
right.
move on
it
to
feels
the next
wrong.
segment because I can close the news.
Tearing up. God. Game of the week.
So, obviously, I got my hands on the PlayStation 5, right? So I've been playing sort of a mix of games. But I'm going to talk about the one I want to talk about the most, okay? So I've been playing Demon's Souls. Oh my god, this game is incredible.
Yes.
Disclaimer before I even start my sort of review. I never played the original, so this is not going to be a comparison review. This is just going to be the review on the new game, okay? I mean, I've looked at videos, I've looked at comparison videos online, how it used to be, and from what I gathered and from other sort of Demon's Souls fans, it's pretty spot on. Like, I've heard it's pretty much uncanny, that the sort of comparison, you know. But
just a graphical update.
First of all, if you've got a PlayStation 5, play this game, even if you're not a fan of like Dark Souls or that sort, because this game is just incredibly beautiful, right? So Jack came over and tried the PlayStation 5, right? Yes. He's not a big Dark Souls fan, but he played Demon Souls. And what was your thoughts on Demon Souls? Just a quick review.
Oh my god, the YouTube videos just do not give this game justice, do they? The graphics and the amount of detail you can see in this game is just out of this world. I mean, it's a bold statement, but I think it's the best looking game. I think I
agree with you there.
In my opinion, it's the best looking game that's come out.
I think I do agree with you there. Of all of
gaming, I can't think of another game that looks. Great.
Like just everything, the lighting, the fog, the hits, the weapons, the armor, everything. I mean, graphically, this game I think is next gen. Like, I looked at this.
When we started the game, all I was doing was just looking at the floor. That's what I mean.
Like, even zooming in on the floor or zooming in on characters, the amount of detail that, like, characters have lines in their face as anyone would, you know, in normal life, you know. Looking at like a leaf, for example, you can see the details on the leaf. Like, it's just I can't even explain to you. Like, you have to see it for yourself. You can't really judge it based on YouTube, because YouTube sort of lowers the, you know, frequency and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, like it looks brilliant on YouTube as well. But as soon as I started playing it, I was like, you know? Wow.
So graphically, it's just amazing. Like I said, I think I agree with you in saying that I think it's the best looking game I've probably ever seen. And definitely, when I started playing it, it felt next gen. You know, there are some amazing games on PlayStation 4, but I don't think it could handle it. I'm looking at this and I think this could be played on PC, and you know, this is like a you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the sort of sound as well, and sort of the weapons hitting, it feels just amazing. It feels like I'm actually hitting. So, like, you know, that makes sense. Like, the sounds are spot on.
Yeah. Well, the haptic feedback probably wasn't designed for the haptic feedback controller, this game, but it did make an impact. Definitely. When I was swinging a sword and I hit something maybe on the lower left side of the screen, I could feel it, and it just added that extra level of immersion.
So I do think that if you get if anyone has a PlayStation 5 out there, it's a must buy. Personally, for me, right? I know I'm obviously a Dark Souls fan, but I think you can agree, because you're not a Dark Souls fan. I think you would get it, right?
I've never really been into the Souls games, but that game has definitely piqued my interest.
So I mean, in terms of the story, I mean, it's a classic Dark Souls story. It doesn't really explain it to you unless you go into detail and start talking to NPCs. You've got to sort of look for the story. Some people like that, some people don't. I'm just used to it. You know, I mean, if it's exactly the same story as what the old Demon Souls used to be. Essentially, this sort of king was obviously king of the land of Boletaria, and he wanted to get powerful, and he released demons by trying to be powerful accidentally. And obviously your goal is to stop the demons and stop this king, because he's obviously been consumed by demons. So that's essentially and that's all the boss is. You know, the whole land's been taken over by demons, and you've got to essentially, you know, like I said, kill all the demons and bring back Boletaria to how it was before. Along the story, you sort of come across, you know, like I said, various bosses, various NPCs. From what I gathered, they're exactly the same as how they used to behave. You know, their characters and sort of how they act are exactly the same. I love them. I think, like I said, I just love the NPCs there. It makes me feel like I'm not alone in this world, because this is a dark world. When I come across an NPC and he's like, yo, how's it going? Can you help me do this quest or whatever? And you're like, yep. I just love it, because I'm like, finally, some breathe into, you know, because Dark Souls is very 100%. You've got to, you know, you can't really leave your character in an idle zone anywhere, right? Unless you're in a home hub.
No,
so seeing an NPC is quite a relief. But in terms of this sort of story, like I said, it's just that sort of general overview. So there's not, you kind of got to look for it rather than find it.
So you take comfort even when you find those really, like, when you show me like the friendly NPCs. You're like this old woman.
Yeah, there's a creepy one, right?
Old man. They look terrifying.
And she has basically been sort of used in this prison to... basically, this prison is to keep humans alive so the demons can feed off their souls. And she's basically been fed so many times that her face is like all ripped off and she looks like a ghoul. And it doesn't sound that scary, but in this, like when the graphics are this good, it looks like an actual ghoul.
Yeah.
And essentially you have to feed her. So basically, she's a shop, and when you buy stuff off her, the souls feed her to stay alive. So it's kind of dark and depressing, but you know.
I know. Imagine being her.
Exactly.
Living in this world.
But going on to the locations then, the locations are just amazing as well. You know, they're exactly how they used to be in the old game. You've got the Nexus, which is just like your sort of hub where you go back to level up. Your safe zone, you know, you can go there to level up, travel to various locations, talk to NPCs, upgrade your weapons, vice versa. You've got Boletaria, which is like the sort of, you know, the classic place, which is the castle, you know, stuff like that. You've got the, what is it? Is it the Underground Iron Keep or something it's called? Which is basically like all through tunnels, and it's like very, very flame orientated. So there's a lot of fire, and all the bosses tend to be fire. You've got the Prison of Hope, which is the creepy prison, which is just a fucking ball ache to get through. Like, it's like a maze. Like, because it's the type of thing where you go into the next room, and that room is exactly the same as the previous room, and you're like, have I been here before? Does that make sense? Like, it's like a maze. And then you have the what's it called? Desert Island, I think it's called, or Island's Edge. That's what it's called. Island's Edge, which is essentially like a Pirates of the Caribbean kind of vibe to it. There's a lot of like skeleton pirates. I like to call them. I mean, that's not what they are called. And then you have the classic poison area in any Dark Souls game, which is the Valley of Defilement, right? It just sounds toxic, right?
I don't want to be
all
there.
5 locations, you know, you can look them up. They're just so different from one another. Like, it feels like a different location, you know? But, I mean, I love just exploring. Like, I've played this game, like, 3 times now. Like, I've completed this game, like, 3 times because of the replayability. So the first one, I just sort of played how I wanted to play. I didn't really go for a specific build. I just sort of... You know, I wanted to experience the world rather than focus on what weapons I'm going to try. Second time, then I went Mage, which was just stupidly overpowered. Like, I mean, just you could one-hit like most bosses.
Well, I mean, I've heard that from the other Souls games.
But it's hard to be a mage. Like, it's not very noob-friendly. You have to know what you're doing to be a mage, you know? And then on my third playthrough, I was just going strength. I was just going pure... double-handed, like massive club, and just taking everything up. So I mean, I'm not done with the game. I'm definitely going to play another build. I'll probably do like a faith build or something. But I mean, the boss designs are incredible. I mean, I don't even have to stress this enough. You can just look it online. I mean, like I said, it doesn't really do it justice online, but when you see it, it's incredible.
It still looks.
I mean, probably my favorite boss. I'm just going to go for probably my favorite and least favorite. My least favorite is probably the first boss, which is the Phalanx, which is just a lump of turds basically blended into each other. The reason why I mean, it's a very noob-friendly boss. The reason why I don't think I like it is because it was just too easy for me. I know that sounds quite cocky, but yeah.
But that's what I need.
Then I'd probably say my favourite boss was probably Flame Lurker, the classic Flame Lurker. He was solid.
Everyone
but
knows
just
that one.
I loved his design. He's basically like a flame gorilla, I want to say. But he's amazing. I thought he was just awesome. I love the boss designs on this. You know, his classic sort of Dark Souls bosses. What I like about these bosses, though, is a bit more of a puzzle to defeat the bosses, right? So in Dark Souls, you just run in there and just swing your sword and hope for the best, right? With this,
I mean, it's a bit more. There's a bit more strategy to just do
with
that.
The bosses
That's what I
in
do.
Demon Souls, you have to have. There's a way to kill them. So, for example, one boss, the Adjudicator, you can only kill him by shooting arrows at his head, or if you hit his sword, he like rolls down and stuns himself, and you can hit his head with your sword. So you have to find out how to do that, if that makes sense. And it's same with every boss on there. There's a way to kill them. You know, there's a puzzle. Like just going in there and hitting them isn't necessarily going to work all the time.
Did it take
Sometimes,
you a while?
I mean, there was one which is
puzzles?
the Tower Knight, which I think everyone knows who that is, right? You know, a massive knight with a big shield. I was just hitting him and getting nowhere. Turns out you have to hit his legs, and then his legs, like his ankles, and his ankles just make him fall over. and then his head comes
that makes
down,
sense, doesn't it?
And then you hit his head. So it makes sense. That's what I like about this compared to the Dark Souls games. It feels like there's more of a puzzle to the bosses, I want to say, or more of a a bit more of a different strategy to how you would sort of tackle the Dark Souls bosses. But I mean, overall, I loved the game.
Before you give your review, any negative sides?
Honestly, no. I may be biased because I loved that, but I think this is the perfect today's standards representation of a Dark Souls game. I think it's the perfect remake. I mean, I can't say because I've never played Demon Souls, but based on Dark Souls and Bloodborne, it's the perfect game for me. Go on.
Well, here's one question. So, the Souls games are known for its high difficulty. Would you say that Demon Souls
it's
keeps
hard,
that standard?
But I found it very easy. So I feel like they've made it easier than the original Demon Souls. But again, Demon Souls came out 15 years ago, I want to say? Yeah, so 12 years ago. If I played it back then, it's the first sort of Souls game anyway, so it'd be ridiculously hard. It's set standard for what Dark Souls and Bloodborne is today. But I mean, I personally found it the easiest one, and I do think that's purely because I'm just used to playing all the Dark Souls games. I loved them. I play through them all the time.
Yeah, of course.
I do think if you, for example, played it, you would struggle because it's just me in general as a person. But I think it's the easiest. I do think it's the easiest one. Yeah.
Okay. Can I just clarify the fact that we just said 2008 is 12 years ago?
Yeah, I try not to think about those things because otherwise I'll just be more depressed.
I feel old.
But yeah, overall, I loved the game. I genuinely can't think of anything bad to say about it.
Right, well, what is your official
10 out of 10
Junkies review?
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Another
is
10?
It my favourite Souls game? No. I wouldn't say it's my favourite.
What is your
I would say 3 is my favourite because it was just I just loved all the bosses. It was just the perfect sort of blend for me. I mean, if they put Dark Souls 3 with that gameplay and graphics, I would be like, I don't think anything could ever beat it.
Imagine Dark Souls 3.
But I don't think it's my favourite. It's probably my second favourite. But it's not my favourite one. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Easy 10 out of 10. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
But it's still a great game.
So what have you been playing?
Well, it's definitely not as I'm not as excited is probably not the best term. Not as excited, but it's still a good game. So I've been looking at
Planet Coaster is awesome. So I mean, completely different, completely opposite to what I've been playing.
Yeah, opposite end of the
I'm stressed out every playthrough, whereas you're just chilling out, making roller coasters.
Well, I'm stressed out.
Is that person going to die on my roller coaster? Have they got enough food?
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, this is with Planet Coaster. This is a theme park simulator. When was it released? I think it was
that sounds about right.
I think it was originally a PC.
Yeah, I mean,
game.
Planet Coaster is kind of the newer version of Roller Coaster Tycoon. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And what was it? So yeah, it's originally a PC game. It's recently come onto the Game Pass, probably about a few weeks ago, I would say. So it's a relatively new, probably around the time when Series X came out, I imagine, just to have more stuff on the Game Pass. So yeah, I've been trying it out. It's a good game. It's a good theme park simulator. It's very unrestrictive. There's a lot of things you can do. A lot of creativity to be had, as it were. You have a lot of space to work with, and you have a lot of options to change the terrain or the amount of buildings you can have, and there's loads of themes you can have for the buildings.
Pirates,
so you have
Yep.
But the thing is, you played it as well, so you remember it. So you got pirates, you got Wild West, you got space. You just have a generic theme park kind of vibe. Yeah, it's a nice variety, and you get a good variety of different maps. So you have a city map, you have a desert map, you have out in the country, just loads of pine trees around you kind of map. You have just open plain grass kind of map. You have a snow map, I think, and then you get blends. So there's a lot of creativity in terms of
I can't remember this, and I'm
design,
not sure if you would know.
I think.
Back in the old Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, there was a DLC which added zoos to it, so you could actually add like animals and stuff. Can you add animals to this one? I can't remember.
You cannot, but there is an entirely different game called Planet Zoo.
Same one.
Which is entirely just a zoo creating game. So, I mean, if people want to make a zoo, go to Planet Zoo. If you want to make a theme park,
give me a rundown of your theme park.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
It never starts off great when the leader of the theme park goes, right, here's the thing. The theme park doesn't work. The roller coasters are broke.
I don't think people don't want to be employed at my
nobody
park.
Comes here, it's bankrupt, okay? So,
yeah. Well, so the problem with... I'm going to start off with one of the main issues I had with playing this game. I feel that it's definitely suited towards PC.
I think I agree with you
Like, the controls. I feel like the console controls are... I don't know. They feel very clunky and, like, unrefined. So it took me a while to like get to grips of what I'm meant to do, what controls lead to what buttons, and how to control everything. It was just a bit frustrating.
Which is strange because
that was a pain. So it made my theme park creating slower.
The guys who did this, like the developers who did this, were the same ones who did Jurassic World Evolution. That's what it's called, right? So
yes, that's right, and that works fine on console. I prefer it on PC though.
It seems like that. I mean, I feel like those sort of games are always better on PC, you know, like sort of world building games.
They are. It makes it so much easier, but it's still it's fine on console. But it's just it did lead to a few frustrating moments of not knowing what I'm doing basically. But in terms of making my park, I have this common trend where I start off, it's looking okay, and then I get into it, and then it's like I just want to restart.
Are you going to do that on Cyberpunk?
Again. Like a classic example's. Yeah. Oh God.
I've just got that on my mind. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring up Cyberpunk
I'm just going to be
again.
Starting. It's fine. It's all Cyberpunk is always there for me. But yeah, these kind of games, like I don't know, like City Skylines, for example, which is another world building game. I always start again. I just like the beginning. I don't know why. There's something about it. But yeah, I tried my best to keep pushing through and just keep making this park. I ended up making this kind of like Wild West kind of park. In the desert, and it was quite nice. In my opinion, since I made it, obviously, I think it was okay. But the problem is, I didn't really know. I don't know, like what does a theme park look like? What layout would a theme park have? I just kind of went with it. You know what I mean?
Many theme parks here in the UK. I mean, we have a few. You know, we have like Thorpe Park, but I feel like American ones are very, in your face, right?
Oh, very over the top.
And I feel like the game is sort of based to be over the top. Like that's what it's meant to be, right?
I think that's the problem. My parks were way too simple. I think I was thinking a UK audience would like this. I was thinking, but like any US resident would be like, well, what is this shit? There's like 5 roller coasters. We need at least 20. Fucking hell. What's wrong with you guys? But yeah, I also found my layout design was very blocky, so I just did loads of pavements that were squares, if you see what I mean. They were just connected by squares, which is kind of just boring and very grid-like. I'm just not very creative as a person, apparently. I tried my best, but like I said, I always just like to restart all the time. But that was the most I was able to get with the creation of my own park, was a Wild West-themed park. It was okay. I like the detail it has in the game, specifically about handling money, the happiness of your...
And yours were all just fuming. Like, this is shit. Let me get out of here.
Well, I mean, they give you you're able to click on a person, and you get to see what they like and what they don't like. So they're not just all negative. They give me positive and negative feedback, which is what I need. I need some positivity, otherwise I'm just going to restart the game. Like everyone just thinks this sucks, but it's normally just due to like, we need more drinks, or the line is a bit too long, or might be just too expensive. So it's all about the detail they complain about, I've noticed, which I quite enjoy. I quite like the detail. So yeah, they talk about money. They talk about they include things like happiness of the customers, especially with roller coasters. I've noticed they if you click on a person, they talk about where there are moments if they feel sick on the coaster, if they're excited. There's like a fear factor. And then you can click on the roller coaster and you can see which parts lead to which sort of emotion. So you can see a part of the roller coaster that's like, well, this makes the customers too nauseous and want to throw up, and this part leads to excitement and that kind of thing. So it had a lot of detail which I liked, which I needed because I didn't know what I was doing. The tutorial was fine. It was too long, but it kind of helped. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have a clue what I was doing at any time doing the game. But it was a fun experience. It was just a bit annoying at times with the controls.
Official Game Junkies review.
Official. I think I'd give it an 8.
That's good.
8 out of 10. 8 out. It's a good theme park simulator. I don't think I can think of many that could rival it at the moment. But I'm looking forward to what next gen has to offer, and maybe if this will be on next gen, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game. Nice. Better suited for PC.
Okay, so do you want to segue us into the next segment? Nice. So for those who don't know, the trivia round, basically we gather 5 quotes from various different games, and we present them to the other host for them to guess. The week before, I was the one who had to guess, and I got like 2.5 out of 5, so I did okay. I did average. Okay. I've been a bit of a rough
Here's the thing. Exactly. October was a shit month. We can both agree on that. We both got low scores. November was interesting because we only had the chance to do 3 weeks. Didn't you get like 3.5 or 4
last time? You got something. You got pretty well.
I got 4.5 on one of them, which was I was very happy
I mean, I personally think I'd be nicer to you.
So November was okay.
With the quotes. So
I mean, here's the thing. They're random, so I don't think it's.
But I know what games you played, and I guess what games you played, and I don't know.
I mean, I try and cater that as well. So I don't know.
Are you ready?
I don't know. I feel like you're going to screw me over now. Okay.
You're interesting. Not entirely interesting, but you have promise.
Is that just
opinion on you? That's just
on me,
before we start.
See, I recognise the quote, but I'm going to need some hints, please.
MMO. So MMO. Massive multiplayer online.
MMO. Okay, next.
Set in space.
Say
you're interested. Again? Not entirely interesting, but you have promise. Gonna have to. Yes.
Destiny?
Yes. Did you know who said it? It's the stranger. Nice. It's the stranger.
Who says it? No.
Yeah.
Oh, her.
It's the only thing she said. It's the only thing she said.
Ever presented. Yeah, it's the only line she said, and then she disappeared for 20 years.
I mean, there isn't really that many MMO. I don't think there is any MMO space set ones, if I'm honest. So, okay.
Yeah.
With thieves in a world that doesn't want us no more.
With thieves in a world that doesn't want us no more.
Another open world game. It's a single player open world.
Okay. Another clue? I have an idea.
Came out in 2018.
Of the game, but it's...
Yes.
Red Dead 2.
Yeah. Arthur says it.
Yes.
No, it was Arthur.
Was it Dutch?
Yeah.
Well, no, it was
nice,
Arthur.
2 for 2. See, mine are easier because I know you've played these games. Okay.
Hey, I've
this one
to you as well.
I think you'll only get. Okay, let's try this one. Our family doesn't give up. You know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta.
Came out this year.
I'm gonna need a clue. Oh. Okay. Another clue.
It's the sec. No, actually, let me just think about it. The original, yeah. Okay. The first one came. The first one came out in 2018.
Huh. Say the clue.
Our family doesn't give up. You know that. I've been a bit harsh. I've been a bit more harsh on the. Okay, I'll give you one more hint just to be, because I feel like it's.
Well, I mean, that's cheating.
Well, maybe the 2018 one you probably wouldn't understand, so I probably could change that for you. It's set around Christmas. Like the setting is around Christmas. Yeah.
Christmas. Oh, Christmas. What? As in the franchise
this
or
specific
this
game.
specific game?
People are shouting at you right now. I can imagine it. Okay, right. 5, 4.
I might kick my
Spider-Man
I'm
Miles
going to give
Morales.
it a pass.
And you've played it around Christmas as well, because I said you said when you played it over mine, you're like, look at that Christmas tree. Is it set around Christmas? I said, yeah.
Oh, like I'm going to remember that. Like I'm going to remember that. I never played those
Rio
games.
Morales says it is mum to Miles, but that's not too bad. 2 out of 3. Okay.
That's fine.
You would be wise to surrender. It's based on a very it's based on a movie franchise.
Okay, another clue.
Trying to think. No, I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this.
Okay. It would be easier if you had the clues.
I don't know because I just go from off the top of my head. If I'm honest with you. Second clue: set in space.
Oh, you're taking your time. So based on popular movie franchise, set in space. And
you would be wise to surrender.
Quote again. I'm just
Which one?
Star Wars.
Which game? Because there's a few of them.
Is it?
I mean, there's like loads of them.
What's it called again?
5,
What's it called again?
4, 3,
the
2,
one. No, it's.
Sorry.
Is it like Fallen
that's half
Order?
a mark. You were too late. I'm not giving you that.
Fuck.
It was Star Wars.
What was it?
Jedi Fallen Order. He says it right at the end. No, you said it right. You said it as I called you off. I called quits. No,
I said Fallen Order, then you said 0.
I said that. The buzzer went.
No, that's
you
not.
cheated me last
I
week,
said
so the
Fallen
buzzer
Order.
went. The buzzer went.
I said
the
Star
buzzer
Wars
went.
Fallen
The buzzer
Order.
went. I said
That's
the
what
buzzer
I said.
went. You get half a mark.
That's insane.
The buzzer went.
You
still got 3.5. You still got 3.5.
Where's the judge at? I'm taking you to court.
How many have you got? 1, 2.
You should
got
know.
2.5 out of 4. That's still good. Stop complaining. No, because I said to you. I said to you.
I gave you the game.
I said
gave you the game.
Call the quits, and then you guessed it after the buzzer went.
I said Fallen
Order. If you were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they'd laugh you out of there.
I'd win that.
Right.
No, they'd be on my side.
Are you ready?
They'd be like,
Are you ready
this
for this?
host, what's he doing?
Do not mistake my silence for lack of grief.
No clue. Get a hint there.
Considered one of the greatest games of all time. PlayStation games of all time. PlayStation games of all time.
I mean, okay. Another one?
Has the main protagonist is just like one which will be remembered forever. I said the main protagonist will be remembered forever. Like, it's a very popular one.
The main protagonist will be remembered forever, and it's a popular PlayStation.
I didn't say PlayStation
game.
5. I was like, whoa.
Well, PlayStation game. Sorry, PlayStation game. Sorry. I mean, that's like the problem is with the PlayStation exclusives. They have so many memorable characters, and they're all good. So, like, this could be from anything.
Can you have to guess? What's that?
Say the quote again.
Do not mistake my silence for lack of grief. Again? Yes.
Is it
Kratos? You can imagine him saying it, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I can see. I can sense the.
He's always silent as well. You know, that's why I didn't give you too many hints, because you kind of have to base it on the character. This character's normally silent. That's not bad. You got 3.5 out of 5. So that's what she said. So, are you ready? So basically, for those who don't know, you get a bonus quote, right? If you haven't got 5 out of 5, you get given a bonus quote. But this quote, they can't actually guess you can't have hints, and you've got to guess the character rather than the game. Okay? Are you ready?
Okay. No.
How to Muppet like you pass selection?
It's gonna be based on like a film.
How to Muppet
like a Muppets film.
Pass selection.
Quite specifically. How to Muppet like you pass selection. What kind of context could I put that in? So I guess I don't know, what do they do?
I'm not telling you.
Rolling in like a military force, or
You know, I have to rush you. We're coming close to the end of the podcast. 5, 4, 3. Okay. It was Captain Price. This is first words to Soap.
Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare.
I think it's Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, I think Soap's new to Modern Warfare 2.
Well, Soap is introduced. You play,
but I don't think they meet. I can't remember. Anyway, because the first thing he says basically is, "What? So your name's Soap? How to Muppet like you pass selection?" I would have done that, but I thought that'd give it away way too much. Yeah,
exactly. If you said that, I would.
But not too bad. You got 3.5 out of 5.
Look, 3.5 is a better result than I've had most of the time.
Maybe next time you'll be nicer with me with the games and actually play games I play.
That's what I should be getting. If you want to go there, I should be getting 4 out of 5.
You cheated me with Destiny last week. I remember I said the week before. I said a quote, and you were like, "Oh no, I'm not going to let you count that." I was like, "Well, that's not fair." So I don't know. It was one of the quotes. I remember there's an argument about it. I don't know.
Basically,
you're wrong. End of story. Right. So I hope you've all pre-ordered your Cyberpunk, and you are looking forward to getting it Thursday. Hopefully. If things go smoothly this week, we will actually be able to play it.
They will. And, there's no delays. It's too close.
We actually get our hands on it. We'll be able to talk about it next week in the podcast, and I feel like it's just going to be most of the conversation.
Can't wait. It's going to be great.
But other than that, thanks for listening, everyone. We do have a Patreon page, so if you would like to support us, that would be greatly appreciated. You can check us out on Patreon at Patreon/GameJunkies to find out more information. Also, let us know what your favourite gaming city is, the question I asked at the start. Let us know on Twitter at GameJunkiesOG, and we'll get in touch with you. Nice. But happy gaming, people. Hopefully you get your hands on Cyberpunk, and we can discuss it next week. Until next week.
Yep. See ya.